More important than anything is getting to know Biscuits and socializing her and finding out how she behaves in public. And I've also got 5 things that I hope to be able to teach her today. I'm Zach George, this is my wife Bree and our dog Inertia, and this is Biscuits, the rescue dog. She's only 13 weeks old and completely untrained. I teach dogs and I teach people how to teach their dogs using the most modern dog behavior science, which shows us that using frequent corrections when training our dogs only holds us back. So I'll have to keep Biscuits loving training for maximum results in the weeks ahead. But look, just because it's more effective doesn't mean it's magic, and my plans don't always go as intended. Not only does Biscuits have to learn all of her basics, but she has to get properly socialized in order to be prepared for her new life ahead in this magical place known as Alaska. You're not going to want to miss a single episode. Subscribe and click the bell. This is Reality Dog Training, Biscuits Edition. It's been 24 hours since I brought home Biscuits, the wild Alaskan rescue puppy. One of the main questions that people have when they get a new dog or a new puppy is, how do I keep them alive and healthy? I'll tell you, from all of our research, if you want to feed your dog really fresh food, forget about these one-size-fits-all dog foods. Few of us are nutrition experts when it comes to our dog, but with us living in the modern era, we can finally get an optimized dog food regardless of their age. I mean, you wouldn't feed the same thing to a 6-pound puppy that you would to a giant Alaskan direwolf or a lab mix. The most ultra premium fresh food that I know of is actually available to ship in the entire continental United States. But it's not like they just make a bunch of fresh food and just ship it out to dogs everywhere. Nom Nom has actual professional nutritionists who will create special recipes and pre-portion them down to the individual calorie for your dog. This is really precision stuff. These pre-portioned meals will arrive at your front door freezing cold. And not only do you get highly optimized food for your dog, but you know what? Dogs really love it, as you can probably guess. A word of warning though, you might be tempted to eat this food yourself, but don't, because it's for your dog. Give this food to your dog for 2 weeks and see how you both like it. Nom Nom is going to give you half off of a 2-week trial so that you can test it for yourself. But you're gonna need to use my special link in order to get this deal. Trynom.com/Zach. I'm gonna have that link below. So we're about to begin our 25th hour together. I'm gonna let Biscuits and Inertia play a lot together and let Biscuits just be a puppy and have fun. How about you? Are you having fun, Inertia? I think just letting the puppy be themselves is really important during those first many days.
How are her teeth sharper today than they were yesterday? Ouch! Seriously! I'm not even kidding. Look at this monster.
Yeah, we gotta work on biting.
I think she's just getting more confident.
Yeah, we'll deal with that later. Speaking of getting more confident, it's time to take Biscuits in public. I love to get out into the real world with a new dog in training just to get a baseline and see how they react to things. For example, the wind last night alone was enough to cause her a little bit of concern, so I'm wondering, is she generally noise phobic or was it something else? That's something I've got to pay attention to. Particularly with puppies, what you see in your living room inside is not necessarily what you're going to get outside. In fact, it's almost certainly not, until you socialize them and give them lots of new experiences. I mean, think about it. With a dog this young, every time they see something, hear something, or smell something new, there's a very good chance that is the first time they've experienced those things.
A lot of noises.
I know.
I just rolled down my window so she can hear them.
That's one of the reasons we decided to come down here to downtown Anchorage, to give Biscuits exposure to sounds, new experiences. Did you know the #1 cause of death for dogs under the age of 3 is behavioral problems? So that's another reason that prioritizing socializing is important. Biscuits is approximately 13 weeks old right now, so you might be wondering how safe it is to go in public. The American Veterinary Society of Animal Behavior advises that we get out there and we socialize puppies before they're fully vaccinated, because there are so many advantages to giving dogs a variety of social experiences while they're young. Provided you go out of your way to avoid places where unvaccinated dogs frequent. Gotcha!
Time to see the world.
She doesn't know how to walk on leash yet. Immediately I'm noticing a little bit of trembling out of her. She's hearing these cars pass by, something she's clearly not very familiar with. She's never been in a place like this at all. So this is a very extreme human environment for her. The sound of the cars going by, there's a bus right there that's about to pass. It might seem insignificant, but showing your dog things like this in a very purposeful way in the beginning can really go a long way. I'm not asking her to do anything. The priority is letting her observe right now. This is why socializing your dog and getting out and about is actually a thing. It's normal for puppies to behave in a variety of different ways, including being nervous of new things. Socializing a dog, particularly at the right age, can really be beneficial for their long-term social health. Here we have like a old school looking vehicle of some kind. It's going to be a little bit louder than a modern vehicle. You can see her ears noticing that sort of thing. It's a bit quieter over here, and there's some nice grass. I think that Biscuits is probably ready for me to put her down. Okay, she's exploring the world, and she looks like she's feeling a little bit more comfortable. But I'll make sure that she knows I'm right here to reassure her if she starts feeling unsure. You want me to come hang down here with you? Hi, look at the tail wagging. She's looking pretty happy. All is well here so far. Usually when I do training sessions like this, I'll stay out here for like an hour just letting them check things out. So look at this difference in how she's behaving right now. She's definitely looking more upbeat, a little bit more curious. This is all very healthy stuff. I saw her getting to the end of the leash there, so I made a little kissy sound to encourage her to kind of come back over here. I don't want to intervene too much. I really just want her checking out the world, but I didn't want her to start pulling and lunging and experiencing anxiety over there going towards those people. When a puppy like this is brand new to a leash, they can also become more anxious when they feel the tension on it. So I'm trying to avoid that in excess here. So there's tension there, and I can pull like that and she's fine. Haha, good. And so she's really taken to that ball. That's good. I'm trying to reinforce her when she comes back. Let her know coming back to me is gonna be a fun time. Yeah, good. But it's not about me. It's about experiencing the world. More of that later. This is really good. I like how she's being nice and calm here while checking the world out. Now, you know how much I like to play frisbee with dogs. So with her being this size, obviously, I can't do that. Or can I?
Zach George finds a way.
This is the first time she's ever seen a disc. I'd say we're off to a good start here. Good, yes, good girl. I'm playing a little bit of tug of war. I want to be mindful of those puppy teeth, of course. Once you've got them interested in frisbee, I like to teach them how to take it by the rim. Get it, just like that. Yes, good. Give them a little tug to reinforce it. Let her walk around with it for a minute. Watch this. Let's roll it around, see that? Love the turn towards me. Not gonna take it from her. I want her to feel comfortable coming back to me with the item, so I don't want to just steal it from her every time. But when she does let go like that, I'm just gonna roll it. And so as she stops here to look around, the priority is not teaching her how to play frisbee right now. The priority is to let her explore the world. So she got distracted right there. I'm not gonna redirect her attention. The whole reason I started frisbee is because she seemed to be playful. Now she's back into sniffy mode and checking out the environment mode. So I want to encourage that as much as possible. Do your best to find the balance between interacting with your dog and letting them do their own thing and take the world in. This is something you'll learn to do really well with your dog as you get to know them better and better. Feel that tempo out with your individual dog. Every dog is different. Hey, there it is. Good. We roll it like that to teach them how to grab it by the rim while it's rolling, or while it's in motion, I should say. Look at that. You see how she was going for the rim? Go. See how she noticed the audio? Got distracted by it? Looking all around. Look at the ears. Look how she's looking behind her. She's like going in and out because she's remembering, oh yeah, what is this place that I'm in? I assume. I don't know what she's thinking. I basically want her doing whatever she wants within reason for this particular lesson. So what does a 13-week-old mixed breed Alaskan village dog like to do? You know, something tells me I'm gonna have that question thoroughly answered over the next few weeks. Good girl, yes. Biscuits is starting to come out of her shell. Her playful personality is showing even out here in this new place. But you can see she still gets thrown off by loud sounds. Listen to the jet. That's something I want to focus on now and probably more a bit later on in this series. I think in this case, one of the best things I can do is pair some type of fun play session with things that cause her to be a bit skeptical or even nervous. The more I can keep things upbeat for her and keep her in a positive frame of mind, the more likely it is she'll become less nervous in these situations. There's so much give and take when you're training dogs, especially puppies. As you can see, she's getting a little antsy. She wants to go smell those flowers. I'm gonna let her. Because a dog is small doesn't mean that we just simply pull them along because we can. It's important to teach them how to think autonomously. Good job, girl. See how she's trying to get play. All right, that's frustration. Hey, what's this? Good girl, very good. You wanna play? Good. Okay, good. And just by virtue of getting out of the house, you're going to give your dog so many unintended experiences. Usually that will work to your benefit. I'm gonna let her go up to the camera. You can see she wants to say hi to Bree.
That's great.
Good girl. Periodically, I'll also reinforce her paying attention to me, coming to me with treats and toys. See, we've got a group of people gathered on the steps over here. Yes. I like how she looked at those people nice and calmly. So far, I'm pretty happy that she's not showing excessive frustration being on the leash, and that might be due in part to the fact that we've been very delicate about introducing it over the last day. To reiterate this point, because it's counterintuitive, when you go slow when training your dog, you're probably more likely to get faster results. And look, it's not always practical to manage the environment. I mean, planes can come by, and if your dog is nervous of loud sounds, then what do? I mean, you can't make the plane go away. It's not always easy to get away. Sometimes you can prepare for an event, and a lot of times you can't. I mean, that's reality dog training, but you do your best to set your dog up for success in a broad variety of situations to give yourself and your dog an edge. Some people are coming up here and she decided to get some safe space under my legs here. You can really see her using her nose to try and gather more information about those people. And again, since we're being patient here and we're not rushing her, she has a chance to really see that they're not scary at all. I'd call that a good experience for her. I'm remembering again how it feels to bring a brand new puppy in public. Like every second you've got to be focused on what they're doing. Now look, did you see that? That was a leash correction. That's what I'm trying to avoid when training her. She picked that up, I didn't see it. I did a poor job of managing, which I can't be perfect and nobody can. And then I had to pull her away. And so now she's going to associate a punishment with me. And if I have too many of those, I fear that it could work against me. So I want to keep those to a minimum. Yes, there we go. So that's kind of what I ideally would like to do when she becomes distracted, get her on a toy. Good girl. I only make that point because it's not ideal for teaching if you have to pull your dog away from something. You really want them to originate how to behave from the inside outward rather than having to be physically coaxed. And with a small dog like this, it's so much easier to pull them away. I would advise not falling into that trap. I mean, I'm trying to treat her just as I taught Chop. I mean, I still carry her. I don't think I ever carried Chop, but for the most part. Good girl, yes. Did you see how she perked up when I said yes right there? Why did I switch to food from the toy? Anyone know? I felt like I saw her start to get excited about those people, and I was like, well, you know, if she's receptive to it, I'd like to reinforce her with a treat because she's more likely to be calm than hyper in that situation. So like, knowing how to balance those things can be helpful. Currencies have all sorts of pros and cons. Sirens are coming. I'm just gonna let her experience it. She doesn't look fearful. If she wants to lean on me or seek security, she can. I mean, she's probably never heard anything like that. Good girl. Nice. You want this or not? It's getting louder again. Yes. I know, isn't that neat? Since she's taking treats here, that indicates that she's pretty comfortable to me. Now, I've got some big plans for her first formal training session later today. She doesn't know how to do anything at all, and I'm hoping to teach her like 5 things at least. Training a dog isn't just about teaching them how to sit and stay in calm. When we commit to having a dog in our life, it's our job to prepare them for this big world that they've been born into. The more confident a dog feels in their environment, I think the more likely they are to behave as we want them to. It looks like you really want to hold her.
I do.
I know. There you go.
All right, I'm done shooting this video now.
I really feel like we are starting to get to know the real Biscuits now. And I still haven't forgotten that I intend to teach her 5 new things today. I don't know why I set myself up for this. I mean, that is a lot of things for a puppy to learn in one day. I'm gonna start with sit. So when I'm teaching her sit, I'm kind of focused on luring. Luring a dog is where you use something that they're very interested in, usually some type of food, though it can be a toy, in order to keep their attention so that you can help them achieve a specific physical position. like sit, lie down, roll over, or play dead even. I'm just using her nose. See how easy it is to lure her around? She's really responsive to the lure. Yes. The second her butt touches the ground, I'm gonna say yes. Okay. I'm gonna release her from the sit by saying okay. She'll understand what okay means in time as she experiences it contextually. Yes. While she's here, yes, I'm gonna reward her also for holding that sit. So I'm doing a lot of little different things, just trying to feel her out a little bit. And usually when we're luring a dog like this is something we do in the beginning just to really help them understand what we're going for. But the emphasis should, in the medium-term future, be on phasing out that lure and converting that into a hand signal or a spoken request. So we're kind of teaching leave it now. For this lesson, I'm gonna switch to something pretty irresistible so that I can teach her to resist it. I'm always up for a challenge. Ooh boy, what is this? You're an Alaskan dog, you're gonna like these salmon treats. With Biscuits, I thought we might go about teaching her how to leave a treat alone in a different way than I've done it in the past. See, traditionally, I'll cover up the treat and discourage her from going after the treat. But this time, I want to catch her succeeding without even having to cover up the treat at all. I mean, you know, if you're going to teach with reinforcement training, you have to really look for opportunities to reward. Yes. See how she's looking to me when I'm presenting that distraction? Yes. You're seeing that I'm giving her a lot of treats. These are some of my favorite training treats ever. Particularly, I use the freeze-dried meat ones all the time for primary training sessions like this. And then for more casual training, I'll often use the sweet potato treats. And remember, you don't always have to use treats, but in the beginning, we have to get that behaviors established, so we reinforce a lot. Leave it. Yes, as she leaves it, I'm saying leave it. That was a clear example right there. If you're working on skills like this with your dogs, you need to check out my totally free digital dog training course, 30-Day Perfect Pup. I'm gonna have a link in the description where you can sign up for this course, and you can also check out Pupford's amazing training treats too. Leave it. Yes. See how she corrected herself there? So really good place to stop on leave it for now. I'll come back to this and try and make it more and more challenging for her as her skills develop. We want to be able to get our dog's attention on us when we ask for it. Lately, I've been using the term here to mean look at me, but we have to teach her what that means. Yes, I'm gonna reward her for the sit. You might notice the hand signal there that I'm using, just holding my hand up. Let's make this easy. So I'm just holding a treat up to my eyes. Here. Yes. Just to get her looking at my head. Here. Yes. If she jumps, I'll pull the treat away so that she knows that doesn't work. But that's still not exactly the most ideal way to go here. I should find ways to catch her succeeding before that happens. And I want to avoid having to pull the treat away as much as possible, not because I'm a snowflake, but because that can often lead to frustration with many dogs. And I'll make much faster progress if I can keep her in the most optimistic mindset possible. Yes. Just looking at my finger already. In other words, I'm not even having to hold up a treat here. Wow, Biscuits is on a roll. I think I can start teaching her the word here. Yes. Here. Yes. Getting more sustained eye contact now. Here. Using the word, waiting a second, then saying yes, then rewarding. Yes. See that? You see how she's kind of figured out that I've got some treats over here in this hand, but then she looks directly into my eyes here because she knows that's not going to work for her because that's not what's been reinforced. Yes. Let me see if I can do it without a hand signal for good measure. She's giving it to me automatically. Yes. I think that Biscuits is really starting to make the connection that looking into my eyes could get her that treat. So rather than asking her to look at me over and over again, I want to wait and see if she'll do it on her own. Yes. By the way, notice she's not being restrained in any way. She's free to opt out if she gets bored or saturated or feels overwhelmed, you know? So I'm looking for those body language cues as I go here with her. Yes. I saw her getting a little distracted, so I intervened there just to kind of give her a nudge in the right direction. How'd you intervene? By making a sound. I went, yes. So we've done sit, we've done leave it, we've done look at me. I mean, we're making great time. I think that when you're keeping things upbeat like this and you're making it a game and you're making it fun, I mean, you're essentially paying them to learn, you're reinforcing the behaviors you like. They're much more likely to stick with these training sessions for a bit longer. So lie down, sometimes with tiny dogs can be a little challenging because they're already so close to the ground. They're like, what's the point? But in the same way that we taught sit, I'm gonna try lure training in her case. See how I'm letting her nibble on the treat? I'm giving her little fragments and crumbs of the treat as she sticks with it and lowers her head there. Yes. Want to acknowledge every little step she takes in the right direction. Yes! There we go. Okay. Come on. Yes. So she's really starting to respond to that okay as well. And I want to catch her staying so I can also release her. So when we talk about positive reinforcement training requiring you, yes, to look at things differently, that's kind of what we mean. Don't wait for them to mess up. Tell them when they're succeeding. Yes. Okay. See, I could have easily kept her down there for 30 seconds and then she would have gotten up and I wouldn't have released her. I just want to have really clear communication with her. Sit. Something different is happening this time. Can you see what it is? Didn't reward on sit that time, so it's already starting to phase out some rewards. Yes! After your dog starts to understand the concepts, you treat them less and less. Sometimes you go back and start treating them a lot if you have relapses, but you gradually phase out treats by randomly finding ways to reinforce as the behaviors become more established. Traditional luring with lie down is working quite well with her, but another way with some dogs, if you're having trouble with this, rather than the traditional line this way, we'll focus on going this way, inward slant, and see if that puts her into a down two. That often works. Yes, see, just like that. Isn't that interesting? So get creative with your lures. Try not to be too methodical. Be willing to experiment a little bit with your individual dog. Let me not use a food lure this time. Let me just fake her out. Yes. And that's one of the ways we start phasing out the lure into a hand signal. So, I mean, I'm letting her just nibble on these crumbs in my hand because to her, that's a real treat. Yes. There you go. And so when she does hit that position, she gets a little bit of a bigger reward. Sometimes people will say, oh, my dog's not interested in treats, so how do you train without treats? Food isn't the only thing you can use to reinforce behavior. Biscuits also likes toys a lot. It's always a good reminder that we don't get to choose what our dog's favorite currency is. Our dog does. It also may be that you're training them in an environment where they're too distracted. So if you have a dog who loves treats at home, but then you take them out to the park, for example, and they don't take the treats, it's probably not about the treats. It's probably about the environment that you're asking them to listen in. So you want to focus on less distracting environments, like your front yard. It's kind of a compromise. You know, you're still at home, but you're outside. There are definitely dogs who like treats more than other dogs, but don't assume necessarily that your dog doesn't like treats just because they're not taking them in all environments yet. That's normal. I wouldn't overlook stand if I were you. It's an easy one to teach, especially if you teach it like this. Yes, I'm watching these paws. Yes. Oops. If I keep doing that, like I'll do this for example's sake. If I do this, I mean, probably frustrated instantly is what that is. I'm trying to minimize those instances, if at all possible. Same concept here. I'm trying to catch her staying for microseconds at a time and to build on top of that in relatively short order. Stay is a lot deeper than just holding position while in a sit or down. Okay. Good, let her know that stand, stay is over. It's a broad-reaching concept that applies in many different contexts when your dog sees a distraction, for example. Or if you're teaching them an intricate trick, you may want to throw in a stay right there. So there's many ways to use stay. She's starting to get the concept of stay, look at me, sit, lie down, and stand already. But there's one extremely important part of a puppy's day that's been blatantly left out of this episode so far. Where are we going with this?
Well, the potty training. There's a lot.
I remember yesterday saying it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of how many or when the potty accidents will occur. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm gonna keep it probably to single digits over the whole series. But it's been many, many months since I last had a puppy live with me. And I've been reminded of how optimistic that is. As you're gonna see in our next episode, raising a puppy has all kinds of challenges and things definitely don't always go exactly as you want them to. I'm hoping to learn more about Biscuit's resource guarding issue. I'm gonna continue to give her more exposure to public life and what the real world is like outside of our living room. And this whole potty training thing, it's already starting to drive me crazy. I really need to get on track here. I go into a ton of detail on not only potty training, but everything else you could want to know about raising your new dog in both of my books, Dog Training Revolution and Guide to a Well-Behaved Dog. I recommend you pick both of those up. Seriously, give Nom Nom dog food a chance. Go to trynom.com/Zak to get half off a 2-week trial to see if it's right for you and your dog. Sign up for my free dog training course, 30-Day Perfect Pup, but probably most importantly, subscribe to my channel and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Everything is in the description, and we'll see you next time.